again, it's Liz back with another video about my experience as a GLP-1 user. I am currently taking 2.5 milligrams of Mounjaro, tirzepatide, and my experience is in South Korea as an American immigrant. So today I'd like to tell you a little bit about why I decided to try using a GLP-1 to manage my weight. So I'd say one of the first times that I heard about the GLP-1 class of medication was when Samita Mukhopadhyay wrote her article for the New York Times, The Cut, Mounjaro and Me. I can't remember when that was exactly, maybe back in 2023 or 2024. But I found that article really interesting. Samita Mukhopadhyay is a journalist that I have respected and followed for a long time, and so I was interested to learn about her experience. I know that she had some family history of diabetes and maybe an increased A1C, which is why she was prescribed Mounjaro, and she had experienced the reduction in food noise and all of those benefits that we know that GLP-1s can have for people who struggle with obesity. So I was very curious about that. And I believe the New York Times also did a review of Ozempic or Wegovy, I can't remember which drug, a few years ago on their The Daily podcast. So that was kind of my first exposure to what these drugs are and how they work and what they've done for people. And that first interview that I heard on The Daily, they included someone who had a lot of success with it and also someone who had really terrible side effects and it really wasn't working for them. So I heard kind of both experiences and I was just like, interesting. But yeah, more recently, before I started my Mounjaro journey, I saw that Hank Green of the Vlogbrothers had done a video about GLP-1s and how they work and what some of the effects are. And some of the things that I was really surprised by that I learned in I keep saying John Green, I mean Hank Green. I'll link the video down below, but he talked about how the GLP-1s have also helped people to stop drinking and also have had positive effects on blood pressure and actually can protect your heart. So once I had heard Hank Green's video, I really thought, interesting. Maybe this is a drug that could work for me as far as reducing my weight and managing my weight and reducing that food noise and everything. So that was really the final straw. I was like, I think I need to do something. And I think that trying the GLP-1 is going to help me a lot because I have struggled a lot with food noise, particularly in the last 2.5 years or so. So I'll give you a little bit of background about how I have struggled with my weight through my entire life. So I was a chubby kid, not overly chubby, but definitely not skinny by any stretch of the imagination. I've always been on the bigger side as a kid, all the way up through middle school, high school. My first memory of being aware of weight and trying to lose weight was in 4th grade. I think I was having a sleepover with one of my girlfriends at the time, and she showed me Taibo. Her mom had some Taibo videos and she put those on and we did some Taibo together, and then she got the scale out. It was like, let's check our weight, let's check our weight before we do the Taibo, and then let's check our weight after the Taibo, which of course we didn't know at that point that basically exercising will activate your muscles and you'll weigh more at the end of a workout than before the workout. So it was interesting, but I wonder where my friend had this idea that we should exercise and then check our weight. So it must have been something that she had seen either her older sister doing or her mom doing. But yeah, it was basically from 4th grade was when I kind of became aware of this idea of exercising to try to lose weight. And I was an active kid. I did t-ball, I did basketball, soccer, mostly basketball. I didn't love soccer that much because there was so much running, and I'm not much of a runner. I always seem to twist my ankles. I did gymnastics for a while, horseback riding, tennis. I've dabbled in a lot of different things. Sorry, that's my cat clawing at the chair. That's fine. Hey, squirrel. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. So, yeah. I was pretty active as a kid, but I was always on the chubbier side. Always probably in the category of being overweight my entire childhood and into middle school and high school as well. Like, I remember 6th grade, I think I was wearing from like size 9 to 11 juniors pants. And so my t-shirts were always like medium, large, and then eventually large consistently. So yeah, from high school I was like typically a size 13 pants, size medium or large shirt, or just size large, and yeah, once I switched to adult sizes, I was pretty much always a 12, 14, even size 16 as an adult as I've gained weight, lost weight. I can't say that I've ever really strictly dieted. I did do some calorie counting now and again. I'd increase my activity level and be biking to work a few miles or things like that. And so, like, actually, during the pandemic, I lost a lot of weight, but that was because at my workplace we have a snack wall of free snacks, and if I was bored, I would go and get a bowl and fill it up with snacks and eat snacks all day long. I didn't really eat meals. I would pretty much just live on snacks, but I gained a lot of weight because it was so easily accessible. But then when the pandemic hit, we were working from home, and I lost access to the snack wall, and my husband and I don't really buy snacks. Mostly he likes to buy oranges and always have oranges in the house. And yeah, I don't buy snacks anymore. Like, that's something that when I was growing up, we always had snacks in the house, like Nutter Butter bars and granola bars and fruit snacks. Like, we always had those when I was growing up as a kid. Actually, my mom told me a story, I guess probably from the time I was like 2 or 3 years old. I guess we'd gone out for dinner at a Friendly's, and I guess I was really well behaved in the restaurant as a 2 or 3-year-old, and another table who was like, at the restaurant, like at the end of our meal, they ended up sending over some ice cream for me because I had been so well behaved. So I think my entire life, food has kind of been a reward for some reason. And when my mom told me that story a few years ago, I was just like, wow, that's very, very interesting to know that food had been a reward to me ever since I was small. And that is definitely part of how I have lived my life around food, is to use it as a treat. It's self-soothing, it's comforting, it's something that I reach for when I'm bored. And yeah, following the pandemic, I lost a good amount of weight. I went back to school. I went to graduate school to get a second master's degree, and that lifestyle of being a student was actually really healthy for me, and I lost a lot of weight without really trying. I was, we cut down our alcohol consumption. That made a huge impact. Instead of having a whole tall boy, I'd have like half a tall boy, and that would be it for alcohol, only on the weekends, and not even every weekend. That was really impactful. And then I was probably around like 175 or so. I went to the doctor, and they're like, wow, you've lost a lot of weight in a couple of years here. What's going on? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, just cutting out alcohol, not really drinking any sugary drinks. I mean, I'd quit soda when I was in college the first time around. Anyway, so, and I think I was making an effort to eat smaller portions. but it wasn't difficult. Like I really feel like I didn't try very much at all to lose weight that first, like back in between 2021 and 2023, like that was when I lost a lot of weight, and I felt like I really didn't try very hard. But I also suffered a lot of like IBS at that time. I don't know what foods exactly were setting me off, but I would go through periods of constipation, diarrhea, like up and down and up and down. And, you know, we tested for celiac, clear for celiac, thank goodness, because I love bread, I love carbs. That would have been tough if I had had celiac. But yeah, my blood work all came back normal. My thyroid, we tested my thyroid because of my family history of thyroid problems. Also, my thyroid test that I did here in Korea a couple months ago came back totally normal. So no issues there. But yeah, even though I had just made some lifestyle changes, I was walking more and biking and things like that, it just seemed to come off really easily for 2 years. And I can't really explain why. I think it was just, yeah, my living life as a student worked really well for me. Like I got married, my husband was dealing with a back injury and he couldn't work for a while because of that injury, but we both, you know, made some effort to live a slightly healthier lifestyle, and it really worked. Like when I was 35, I looked great. But now, yeah, I'm turning 38 soon, and from 2024, I was gaining weight significantly. Like I finished graduate school, I moved to a new city that was way less walkable than where I had lived before. I started a new job working as a teacher in a school system that has kids with a lot of trauma in their background, a lot of poverty, like really challenging environment to teach and work. And it was extremely stressful. So that stress, I think, contributed a lot to the way I was eating. Also, I started drinking alcohol more again, which is definitely not going to help at all on the scale. So there were a lot of contributing factors, but I basically put on 60 pounds in 2 years. And I didn't feel good, and nothing fit me anymore, and I could only wear leggings, and even those, like, my thighs can't be contained, and the chub rub is real, and I've burned through the thighs on a lot of pairs of leggings in the past 2 years, just because my weight had blown out of control, and I think it's a lot to do with stress. It's not like I was eating takeout all the time, but I think my living situation was a little more stressful. I was living with my mother-in-law, and there's, like, the way that she grocery shopped was really not helpful to me. It really added to my stress and made it more difficult to manage my weight and my food choices and things like that. So, yeah, there was just a lot going on for 2024 and 2025 that led to me gaining a significant amount of weight very quickly. So I went from, like 175 up to 225 really fast. And then, when we landed in Korea and I was weighed in September, it's like 234 pounds, excuse me. I might have said 100, not 200, but yeah, went from 175 to 225, and then from 225 to 234, and that's just, like, not great. And so, in September and October and early November, I started working out really heavily, like 3 times a week, going to the open gym, doing full body workouts, lifting weights, and I could feel myself getting stronger all the time. I was able to add more weight to the machines, but the problem was that it made my appetite completely out of control. Like, I was ravenous. I would eat high protein meals, get a double protein lunch from Salady, which is a chain in Korea that does like poke bowls and salads and things like that with meat and veg and healthy grains and things like that, but it would not keep me full all day. And I'm working until quite late at night, and I would just be like, I would need another big meal, especially when I'd worked out. So obviously, working out was not going to help. And then like my jeans couldn't fit my thighs anymore. Like I think maybe I was building the muscle, which is great, but I was also probably gaining more weight instead of losing weight when I started working out 3 times a week. I think maybe even 4 times a week occasionally. But yeah, I did that for like basically 2.5 months, and it wasn't helping me slim down. So I was just like, you know what? And then I had a bike accident and I hurt my shoulder, so I had to stop working out altogether. I finally saw an orthopedic doctor and they gave me some steroid shots and my shoulder feels a lot better now. But yeah, hopefully once it warms up in the spring and when the air pollution gets better in mid-May, I can start working out at the open gym again. I'll be curious to see how that impacts my metabolism, if I'll need to increase my dose of Mounjaro if I start working out more aggressively, because lifting weights definitely increases my appetite, and I don't want to work against the tirzepatide if I start working out really hard again. So I need to figure out what's going to work for me the best. But right now I go for walks every day. I've been on a pretty good streak of walking every day. There's a really lovely stream walk in my city that's not far from where I live. I've already done that today and hit my 12,000 steps today. 2,000 of that was just from going out and about this morning, and then I did like 10,000 on my walk to the stream and home again. And so I feel really good going out and walking for, I would say, 35 minutes. If I don't have a lot of time, like if I have to go to work at 1 p.m., I can usually fit in like a 35-40 minute walk. But on the weekends, I can definitely extend that for more than an hour. I don't know exactly how long I go out for, but it's long enough. And I feel really good just walking. So that's what I'm doing. It's also cold out, like really cold out. So like 0 degrees or lower Celsius. So that's 20s, 30s, low 30s Fahrenheit. So yeah. But yeah, I think that the Mounjaro is making my appetite way more controlled. Like I wouldn't say that I don't feel hunger. I definitely do feel hungry. Like when I was almost finished my walk, I started to feel really, really hungry. I'm like, because I only had a protein shake before I went for my walk. And so I came home and I just bought a blender on Coupang last night, and it already showed up today. I love Coupang. It's so convenient. So I made myself like a berry and yogurt smoothie, and I threw in some soy milk into it as well. That's high protein. And then like there wasn't enough liquid, so I also had to add some water. But anyway, it's just like raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, whisk that up. So I don't feel hungry anymore. But tonight I'm gonna make some cabbage wraps filled with seasoned ground chicken. I usually do garlic and ginger and other spices, a little bit of soy sauce into the chicken mix, and then I steam the Napa cabbage leaves so that they're soft enough to roll and keep shape, rolled around the chicken, and then I steam them on a pan. And that's a really great high protein, high fiber dinner. I make a dipping sauce. So you get, your sodium and a little bit of sugar in there with some kind of, I don't actually know. I don't actually know some of the ingredients that I'm using because I just buy them at the grocery store, and I translate it. I'm like, okay, that's some kind of sweet syrup thing, because I haven't found maple syrup here. I'm sure I can get it on Coupang, but I'm gonna make those tonight. My husband really likes those too, so that'll be my plan for the dinner tonight. I don't usually, during the week, have a ton of time to make things like that, so on the weekends I try to, make something good. I mean, we ordered pizza last night because who could be bothered, and also I'm on my period, and I sure could use some carbs. But I had probably what would be like 2 slices of a standard American pizza, maybe 1.5 slices of like a large. I mean, the pizzas here are much smaller, so it was like, I think I had three or 4 pieces, but they're small. They're like this big, or yeah, this big. So that's like less than 2 standard size American slices of pizza. I also had a little bit of diarrhea yesterday. I don't know exactly what it was. I had cooked up some beef bulgogi for lunch, and that didn't sit well with me. Maybe that meat was a little too fatty or something, but I have only struggled with diarrhea maybe 3 times since I started the Mounjaro. I've had more constipation than diarrhea. In the first month, I had a lot of acid reflux, kind of often, so I went to the pharmacy and got some antacid tablets of some kind. I don't know, something to prevent the acid reflux, and the medicine helped. But I found with the second month, like maybe from after week 5, I really haven't had any acid reflux with the Mounjaro, and so I think I'm kind of normalizing. I've also really reduced how much fat I eat. Like most mornings I have just an egg white omelet with some salt, pepper, gochugaru, which is Korean chili pepper flakes, and a slice of cheese of some kind. I found that if I did a 2-egg omelet with the yolks in, that would really make the acid reflux worse. I could probably experiment and try doing a 2-egg omelet with the yolk now, but I've been buying the liquid egg whites on coupon, and that's been working out really well for me. I did measure it out at first, but I basically know how much to pour into the pan to have like not too much food in the morning. So I do the egg white omelet, and if I have the energy and the mental ability, the night before I prepare a chia pudding with soy milk. So I do soy milk, chia seeds, honey, cinnamon, a little bit of like vanilla extract, and I've started throwing frozen raspberries into it as well for a little extra fiber. So I mean, the chia's already got a lot of fiber in it, but yeah, so chia pudding and an egg white omelet, that's my typical breakfast these days, especially during the week. I'm very consistent with that during the week, but on the weekends, maybe I sleep in more and my husband will cook something. Like yesterday I had a bagel. I hadn't had a bagel in 2 months, more than 2 months. So it was nice to have a bagel once. Yeah. So I'm not really eliminating any specific foods from my diet, but I'm just trying to be really standardized. I find that if I eat the same things every day, I don't get bored of it with the Mounjaro. Like I do lunch and dinner the same thing during the week. I cook lentils. I cook a big batch of lentils in the rice cooker with some seasoning, and some sesame oil just for fun. And usually that batch will last me for 3 days. I do measure it out, so it's like half a cup for lunch and half a cup for dinner. I just put it all in one container. And with the lentils, I usually get some pre-cooked chicken breast that's seasoned either salt and pepper or like smoked chicken breast is what I've got right now. I try to buy it in bulk, either through coupon or if there's a sale at the local grocery store, I'll get a couple bags of those pre-cooked chicken breasts. Early in the week, like I do my shot on Mondays, so like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I can usually just split the chicken breast, like have half of it for lunch and half of it for dinner. But for Friday, usually I'm a little hungrier, so I'll bring 2 chicken breasts to school with me. So I'll have 1 whole chicken breast with the lentils for lunch and then 1 whole one for dinner, but I don't do that every day. And then I also usually cook 2 sweet potatoes in my air fryer, so I've got 2 roasted sweet potatoes. I have 1 for lunch, 1 for dinner. Korean sweet potatoes are really small compared to American sweet potatoes, so that's not too much. That's like your carbs, a little bit of fiber. And I've also started doing some steamed cauliflower. I've discovered that I actually prefer the flavor of cooked cauliflower compared to broccoli. I used to be really into broccoli, but I'm not that into broccoli these days. But the cauliflower picks up the flavor from the seasoning of the lentils really nicely. And yeah, I like cauliflower these days, which as a kid I would never touch that, but now I really quite like it, and it works really well for me. So yeah, that's my lunch and dinner during the week. because I do not have a ton of time at school to eat dinner. Like school is like 1 or 2 p.m. until 8:45 or 9:30 at night. And I have like a 10-minute break where I can bolt down a quick dinner. So I have my half for lunch during my prep, which I have plenty of time to like take my time and eat and not eat too quickly. But yeah, I literally get 10 minutes to both heat up my food and eat it. And then I can't eat again until, the school day is over or I'm finished with students, and that's too late. That's too late for me. And usually I'm hungry by like 5:45. So I need to eat my dinner at that 10-minute window that I get. Sometimes I can't eat at the 5:45, but as long as I'm eating before 7, I feel pretty good and I feel pretty regular. And again, I feel like because of the Mounjaro, I'm just not bored. Even though it's been basically almost 8 weeks of doing the same exact thing for breakfast and lunch and dinner during the week, I'm just not bored of it. And I did do a little bit of calorie counting for a couple of days just because I wasn't sure how many calories I was eating, and I was more concerned that I wasn't eating enough calories. I do throw in a protein shake once a day, most days, not every day, but most days I do. And I found that the amount of calories that I'm consuming is pretty low. But I think that's to be expected when you're first starting out on this medication because it does curb your appetite so much. Again, I do still feel hungry, but at meal times. And it's not like that kind of crazy food noise where I decide that I'm just going to get a huge meal and eat the whole thing. Like you can't eat huge meals. So, I've been really focused on your protein and your fiber, which is what everybody tells you that you need to focus on. So, egg whites, chicken, lentils, cauliflower, sweet potato. I don't know. I think I should probably speak to some kind of dietitian. I think when I go tomorrow to see my doctor, I'm going to ask if that is something that they have available at the hospital, because I want to make sure that I'm not going too extreme with my calorie deficit. I still get very confused about what kind of calorie deficit I should be on to achieve my goal weight, and I am concerned that I could be losing weight too quickly. But also, like the average of 1 to 2 pounds a week, that's just an average, and maybe not necessarily everyone should be losing that level. And it's okay when you are at a heavier weight to lose more than that. I think once I drop below 200 pounds, which hopefully will be in the month of February, that the weight loss should slow down and it'll be less than 2 pounds a week, most likely. Especially when I get down to like 180, 170, I can't believe that it's like, I think it's gonna happen by summertime. I should be back down to where I was 2 years ago. And I don't really know what my goal weight should be, but the Mounjaro is working for me really well. I really don't have that bad of symptoms, or side effects, I should say, from the medication now that I'm 2 months in. We'll see if after a third month on 2.5, if I feel the food noise coming back, if I should move up to the 5 milligrams. I'm also going on a trip to Tokyo in a couple of weeks here, so I'm sure I'll be doing lots of walking, but I know I'm also going to be eating lots of like salty food and noodles, and I want to eat tempura, even though that is a little bit more on the greasy side. But I think it'll be good. We're only going for like 5 days, so not that long. I'll miss my cats too much if we go for much longer than that. So yeah, it's been a time, and I've talked a lot, probably too much, and this video has been a little bit all over the place. But if you are interested in one girl's experience on Mounjaro, tirzepatide, that's a little bit of what brought me to this point and how my experience has gone so far. And yeah, probably too much, but that's okay. Maybe you just like to listen to these videos and not really watch them because I'm not doing anything interesting. I'm just sitting here yapping. But it's good to talk about the experience. I do have some friends, one friend that I can reach out to back in the States who's been on Wegovy since the summertime, and she's been doing pretty well. And so if I have any questions, like, she's also very biology, science minded, so I can kind of share my experiences and she can give me a little bit of advice. But yeah, I think I'm going to stop here because I've yapped enough. But yeah, that's me. So far, so good, and really doing well with the tirzepatide. I feel good. I feel a lot better. Losing 20 pounds will make anybody feel a lot better, I think. So I hope you're having a good day wherever you are, and I will chat you next time. Bye.